What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, everyone. This is Lee, and yes, today's the day we'll be talking about the darkroom.com versus the Brook Film Lab. Now, for those people that have been following me on my Ektar H35 film processing, you guys remember I went to develop my film with the darkroom.com. They held my film hostage. They charged me an additional fee to process the half frame film. I was kind of stunned. I've been using them for 3 years. I've been promoting them on my channel for the last 3 years, and I realized that I felt kind of ripped off actually. But anyways, I went to find another vendor, Brook Film Lab, and they don't charge that fee at all. And in this video, I'm gonna show you guys the difference between these two vendors. So without further ado, let's begin. So the Brook Film Lab versus the darkroom.com. Let's take a look at their machines, their scanners that they're using to process your film. Now, for the darkroom.com, they already told me they're using a Noritsu, but if you look at the gallery, they're using a HS1800 Noritsu film scanning machine. That's very expensive. That's industrial. That's high quality right there. But if you look at the Brook Film Lab, they're using a FUJI, yes, FUJI Frontier SP3000. So already these two vendors are using two different scanning machines. Anyways, let's take a look at the pricing. The pricing for the Brook is $12.50 for a standard scan, and they do offer a pro service at $16.50, whereas the darkroom.com offers $12 for a standard scan, and they do charge additional $3 more if you want a 11x14. If I'm reading that correctly, 11x14. So that's about 15 bucks if you want 11x14 altogether. And so already standard scan for the darkroom.com is a lot cheaper than the Brook Film Lab by 50 cents. So that is something for you guys to definitely take note of. Now let's see the size output that the Brook Film Lab and the darkroom.com will send to you when using a standard service. Here is the Brook Film Lab. Here is the darkroom.com at 11x14. And here is your $12 standard scan. And as you can see, there is a big difference with this 50-cent difference between the darkroom.com and the Brook Film Lab. And at the end of the day, it depends on the end user. Do they prefer a bigger scan output or they prefer a smaller scan output? That's actually, leave your comments down below. I would love to know what you guys think about that. Now, at the end of the day, it's all about the final image. What is the final image that you'll be receiving from the Brook Film Lab versus the darkroom.com? So in this test, I actually sent out the same film to the darkroom.com. I sent the same exact film to the Brook Film Lab. And here is a sample side by side. Let's take a look. So here's the first test. On the left is the darkroom.com. On the right is the Brook Film Lab. And already, if you take a look at the sky on the Brook Film Lab, it's more defined. Darkroom.com seems to be slightly overexposed, or very exposed actually. The jacket alone is much more defined on the Brook Film Lab, whereas the jacket on the darkroom.com seems to be overly exposed. Even the skin tones, it's the same deal. It's kind of pale on the darkroom.com. Brook Film Lab, you can see the saturation on the skin, and that's something for you guys to definitely take note of. In this next test, from this sample right here, it looks like the darkroom.com is on the green side of things and the Brook Film Lab is kind of on the blue side of things. So let me know down below what you guys think. And also, the sky in the Brook Film Lab is more defined than the sky in the darkroom.com. So that's something for you guys to also take note of. All right, so here's the next scene. Here's my buddy Matty again. His eyes is closed, and you can tell by the background which one is which, because the darkroom.com is overly exposed and the Brook Film Lab is very well controlled, defined. Look at this telephoto lens right there. And yeah, I just think that you get slightly more detail on Brook Film Lab with the FUJI SP3000, and the Noritsu HS1800 doesn't, it seems like it's overexposing on the Noritsu right there. So there we go. All right, so here's the last sample. On the left is the darkroom, on the right is the Brook obviously, and already you can tell, look at the skin tone, look at the cloud, look at the telephoto. Everything on darkroom.com seems to be overly exposed. It just seems to be, yeah, seems to be a bit brighter. The FUJI Frontier SP3000 by Brook Film Lab seems to be very controlled. You can see the skin tones, you can see the details on the hand, the tripod, the telephoto, even the bushes and the sky. So there we go. So just wrap things up, the Darkroom.com versus the Brook Film Lab, the Fuji Frontier SP3000 versus the Noritsu HS1800, $12.50 versus $12. At the end of the day, I would definitely prefer the Brook Film Lab because obviously I'd rather get a much defined skies, better skin tones, and also a more detailed image and a bigger output at $12.50, whereas the Darkroom.com, even though they are 50 cents cheaper, they are giving you guys an overexposed image, a more greener tint image, and the output is very small. And also don't forget, they charge extra processing your half frame film. That was a huge bummer. So from here on out, I'm going to go with the Brook Film Lab because the Darkroom.com, I mean, let's face it, when I received those images, I blamed it on myself. I blame it on the camera. I blame it on the film. I was like, why is this overly exposed? It must be something broken. We sold my camera, we sold this, we sold that. I just bought this, I bought that. It just confused me why my images were overly exposed. And it turns out it's the processor, the processing, the vendor. It's Darkroom.com. They don't care. They're just gonna submit your film in the machine, hit auto, and that's it. I'd rather just go to Brook Film Lab. So there we go. Anyways, thank you guys for checking me back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys made it this far, definitely leave your comments down below. Let me know how much are you guys paying for your developing and your processing of your film. That'll be very helpful information actually. But anyways, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, take it easy. Peace.